thinks Happy Island is just a rumor and doesn't exist, but Irvin argues that it must exist, since the guards earlier wouldn't have tried to kill him if there were no chance of survival in the swamps. Elsewhere, we see a military captain communicating with the president, who is frustrated that they failed to eliminate Irvin. The captain explains that Irvin was aware of the attacks and clever enough to avoid them. We also learn that the shooter was Matthias, the prisoner who stayed behind and is working under the orders of the government. In another scene, Christy and Irvin decide to take a rest, during which Christy cleans herself with some water flowing from a rock. All of a sudden, Irvin approaches her slowly from behind and asks her not to move, which leaves her confused. Suddenly, a bizarre creature erupts from the ground, and Irvin tries to cover it with his jacket. Is it his boner? But he is attacked in the process. Christy immediately grabs a knife and cuts the creature's tentacle, freeing Irvin. The man then creates a weapon from the tentacle, but it turns out he has been injured from the attack. So Christy proceeds to tend to his wounds and reveals how she ended up in prison. It turns out she had tried to get a divorce permit, but a government worker attempted to assault her. She had no choice but to defend herself and ended up killing the man. Just then, they are confronted by Van, who arrives with his group and demands the metal box. Irvin refuses to hand it over, so Van orders his minions to seize it by force. However, Irvin skillfully wields the tentacle weapon from earlier and demonstrates its power, which scares the group. With no other option, Van retreats, while Irvin and Christy continue their journey. Not long after, Irvin senses the presence of a creature and becomes alert, so he lies down on the ground and tells Christy to do the same. We then notice that Van and his group are also following the duo. Suddenly, the pagan creature erupts from the ground and begins attacking them. Everyone throws themselves to the ground, but one of the men panics and starts to run. The creature immediately grabs him and ends his life on the spot. Christy is horrified and wants to help the others, but Irvin reminds her that she cannot do everything for them and makes her continue their journey. At the same time, the president is losing patience and hopes that the captain will manage to catch Irvin, whom he refers to as an advisor. Elsewhere, Irvin shares with Christy that he was a mathematician, and she goes and then asks how he ended up here. He promises to tell her if she solves a riddle and says that a girl needs 9 coins to buy a chocolate bar and a boy needs 1 coin. They meet and decide to buy a chocolate bar together and split it in half, but they still end up 1 coin short after buying it. So Irvin asks her what was the price of the chocolate bar. However, Christy is so bored by the riddle and she didn't have access to ChatGPT, so she falls asleep. Meanwhile, Irvin goes for a walk nearby, and not long after, Christy wakes up and is horrified to see a large number of creatures approaching her. The panicked woman tries to run away but comes across Irvin, who makes her hide inside the metal box with him. They close the lid, after which they hear the creatures desperately trying to get in without success. Not long after, the creatures finally give up and retreat.